Welcome to Awakened Path Radio, helping to spread love and light for the highest and greatest good. I'm your host, Reverend Candace Nadine Green, independent spiritualist minister and healing minister. For more information, including show updates, courses, workshops, events, resources, and more, visit my website at awakenedpathonline.com. Again, that's awakenedpathonline.com. Now, on to today's show. Today I have with me Reverend Kathy Medeiros, who is a psychic medium. She also performs weddings, funerals, baptisms, baby blessings, and wickenings. She is a certified herbalist. Also, Reverend Kathy offers compassionate and alternative forms of healing and spiritual growth. And we're going to learn a whole lot more about Kathy tonight. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Now, just let us know, some people don't know, you also have a title, psychic medium. And for those unfamiliar with the term, could you just explain to us what a psychic medium actually is?
Right. So it's kind of like a two-part answer to that. The medium part is, someone that we can connect with spirit, whether it be loved ones or angels, spirit guides, any kind of spirit. Now the psychic part is someone who can see the future and sometimes the past. I can actually do both. So I can actually see, different time frames and actually talk to a loved one all at the same time.
Wow.
It's a little bit of both. Yeah. So it's actually quite interesting though, because sometimes, I can see, a lot of times I tell people that, like, if I'm telling them something that's going on right now, it doesn't make sense to them. I tell them, it's like, okay, just keep in mind though, it might happen next week or two. Because sometimes, time looks a little bit different with spirit than it does here. So a lot of times it does end up happening within, the next week or two before that happens. And I can get like so many different kinds of people coming in for someone, sometimes friends, sometimes, a parent or a sister or, just even a cousin sometimes.
Right. So you can actually do psychic, the psychic abilities and the mediumship abilities during a session. Like if someone's coming to you, for instance, for mediumship, would the psychic part also be included in that session, or is it optional?
Sometimes it's optional. A lot of times though, people want a little bit of both. But if they're just looking for like the mediumship, but yet I see something that that's going to be coming in, I usually just bring that in though, so they can at least be aware of it. It's usually like something good coming in, which is always great to tell people that. So it's usually one or the other, but sometimes both.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about your journey to being known for the gifts that you have and for using your gifts to help other people.
I always like being asked that question because it's not like any no simple answer. With me, I've always felt like some kind of interest, some kind of like a pull to, whether it be card readings or, talking to a medium. And then, one day I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were invited by their aunt though to go to a psychic fair. And they asked me to come along. I'm like, oh, I've never been to one though, it was fun and a little interesting. So I'm like, oh, I can, I'll go with her. And then, I ended up getting a medium reading and a card reading. And, I value both readings just as well though, because, everyone has something to offer that can actually help somebody. And the card reading was kind of wrong to me a little bit more though, because I had an oracle card reading. And I never really heard of one for it. I'm used to the tower, as most people have heard of the tower, because it's been around for, quite a, I want to say at least 100 years now. So everyone's familiar with that. So when I had the card reading, though, she told me about some classes to connect with spirit, to connect with the angels, to actually just, learn more about the spirit side. So I took those classes though, and then eventually I was going to a spiritualist church. I'm no longer a member of, just because I'm just busy though, too busy to attend, unfortunately. So that's how I started though. Then eventually, started doing card readings, and then, got into Reiki. And then, then I started doing the mediumship. So the mediumship part has actually been kind of like 2 or 3 years now, though. I've been doing psychic work and cards for, about 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually been quite the journey for me, to say the very least. But always definitely a very good one, because there's always something to learn, especially different perceptions, though. And, along the way, though, I started doing house blessings as well, too. And no two house blessings are the same. Because everyone thinks it's something spiritual. It's not always something spiritual. Sometimes it's on the physical level, whether it's the radio not working right, or something's going on with them that they need to see, take medicine for. But we're not going to get into that. But most of the time, though, it is because they bring the fear in, and because there's been like an earthbound spirit that just got stuck. Or they got attachments to themselves and to the house, or one or the other. So I do a little bit of that, and then just there's always the loved ones that want to come through, no matter what I'm doing. Sometimes even when I'm just home alone cooking for supper, it's like, okay, guys, just for a few minutes. Sometimes I have to ask them, okay, let me know who they'll bring to me who you're here for. So can actually give them the message that, they've been needing to give them. So it's always nice though, because, they all come from a place of love. They always want, the encouragement and just to remind us of the love that, heaven gives us, and that they give us though, and all these, all these wonderful beings though that's in spirit now, they give us. So it's no two readings are the same, no two sessions are the same. So I always look forward to the experience of giving the message.
Now, when people contact you, what are they generally looking for? What is your most, I guess, frequent type of client who contacts you? What are they asking for?
Well, it's kind of an equal between the card readings and the medium readings. A lot of times when someone comes for medium, it's because someone recently had passed with the last month or two, though, and they're looking to connect with them and basically to find out answers. As we know, sometimes though, people pass away not under the best circumstances. So they're looking for answers, they're looking for some kind of closure. For the card readings, the people usually looking for answers or some kind of guidance as to where to go or what to turn to, what might be the best options though for them to consider and what path to go in. A lot of times the people forget that it's still our own free will, though that's the deciding factor. So we can't always go by, okay, just, somebody told me, our reader told me to do this, so that's what I got to do. It's something to strongly consider, but if you don't feel comfortable, don't do that. But it's also a lot of times, though, especially the better readers, the more experienced ones, they usually have some good advice or some really good suggestions, especially if it's coming from spirit. Because a lot of times they have the between two things they have to consider or decide between. And, the good readers always go with what you feel is best, but this is what looks good and what looks most beneficial for you. So a lot of times it's closure, looking for answers to questions. So just looking for that connection again, that, they're still around.
Right. Now, I know we didn't discuss it, but have you ever encountered during these, let's say a client contacts you, have you ever encountered someone wanting to get rid of an unevolved, malevolent spirit? I don't know, exorcism or, what they see in the movies, things like that.
Yeah. It doesn't always work like the movies, though, but a lot of times that's how people come to us. Sometimes I do, not too often.
Mm,
Not as often as I would expect, honestly, though, which is kind of good, I guess.
mm,
It's usually like an attachment to them
mm,
or, something going on in the house,
right,
which I mean, I do offer that's part of these house lessons to get remove the spirits, have them go back to where they came from.
right.
Um, so I do remove the attachments from them, though. So if it starts as like a medium reading, and that's what they end up needing, though, that's what I will do during a session.
Mm,
Um, because I'm, no matter what, though, I will always give the help that is needed. Not necessarily always what they want, but definitely what they needed. So I do get rid of the attachment, though. Have the attachment go on its way back to spirit.
right,
To the love and light of spirit, so they can do what they need to do and evolve the way they need.
right.
Um, So I definitely help people with that, though. It just doesn't happen often as I would expect, but it definitely does happen and does come up. And a lot of times when that happens, though, it doesn't feel a lot better, like a lot lighter, a lot,
Yeah, relief.
just,
Yeah.
yes,
I
right.
know, I know a number of people who claim that who to say that there are spirits in their houses, and some are from previous owners or someone who died in the house, and they're just okay with it. Some people, they just don't try to get rid of the spirit. They just leave them there, which I kind of think I think I'd want them to go.
I
Like,
know, I agree with you on that one, though, but I've come across that, though, too, that where people are just okay with the spirits, though,
yeah,
and stuff just moving.
right. I
I
mean,
know
interchangeable,
some,
I guess.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. I happen to know somebody that he knows his house is
Hmm.
haunted, but it's not so much of the lower energy,
Right.
the evil spirits so much. It's more like the earthbound spirits
Hmm.
that the ones that are stuck. And sometimes though, they just get they were told by another person that went to the house that that there's this one entity that comes, there's one lady that comes to the house in spirit all the time though, and when she comes she creates a portal, so there's spirits are coming in and out of the house all the time.
Oh.
Right. And sometimes they'll pictures fall, those things that just like move and like, and he's totally okay with that. He knows what it is and he understands what it is and he's okay with that.
Mm.
To me, I find that unusual,
Yeah.
but we have that choice. So if you're okay with that or not.
Can the portal can actually be closed, correct? Have you closed portals in your experience? Have you had them?
Yeah, I've had to do that only once so far.
Mm.
Luckily though, that hasn't happened too often though, but I have been able to do that though. And it usually, I believe it took about, I think it almost took 5 minutes though to close that portal, because that portal was there for a while.
Right.
And the spiritual activity though has definitely lessened.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the spirits that were in the house though came from that portal, so had to send them on their way as well too.
Mm.
But yeah, that was an interesting experience though for me.
Now, another question that someone might ask is, I mean, when you go in there, you have to, when you go in to do a house clearing or send spirits back where they belong, help them cross over, you have to protect yourself, correct? Right?
Oh yes, yes,
What are
you
some of your
have to.
methods of protection?
One way I do is very, very easy. I usually tell these to kids because it's so easy to do.
Mm.
The adults though, that's one way too. But I envision the white ball of light coming from my heart, and I make it so big though that it envelops my entire body and pass me into my aura and past my aura,
Mm.
because the attachments in the lower energies don't like light.
Right.
So that's a lot of times that's what I do though, make sure that keeps like so bright and so big that it goes past my aura.
Mm.
Other times though, I've had to have called my angels to come in and keep me protected, so I don't take anything home with me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing you want though when you're helping somebody else is take something home with you though when you're trying to get rid of them from that house.
Right.
So those are two things that I do. sometimes even when they try to be sneaky, though, I send them on their way, though, from me, though, when they try to attach themselves to me. Like, no, you're not allowed.
Ah, mm-hmm.
So that's the thing, though, too. A lot of times, though, we forget, though, like, we still have that power of saying, no, you cannot.
Right. Now, how do you know that? How would the average Joe or Jane know that a spirit, an entity has attached themselves to them? Would they get a sign, or would they feel different when they go to their own homes? 'Cause I know spirits can attach themselves, entities can attach themselves, but how does, like, someone who has no experience, and they go to someone's house and some entity attaches themselves to them, and they go to their house? How do they know that that person? How would they know?
Well, most of the time, the person will feel like very lethargic, very dragged down. Or they tend to get really moody. A lot of times they get like sad or depressed or angry a lot. They don't seem themselves. It's just very low energy. And I've noticed though too, sometimes people can feel like they're being crowded, even though there's no one around them at a physical level.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that less likely, but sometimes, people are starting to become aware. They tend to feel like they're just crowded, even though there's no one else there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the heavy emotions, though, the sadness, the depression, very quick to anger. And sometimes, too, if you keep feeling like you have to look over your shoulder, though, and there's no one there, sometimes, though, they attach themselves to the back of us.
Wow.
So, because they want to be sneaky. Yeah, so, yeah, whenever they can.
Wow. That, and some people, and I know a lot of people who have those range of emotions, and they say, oh, I don't feel myself today. And they don't know why. And it could be, we just dismiss it in society because society says we're crazy for thinking that way. But in actuality, it could be, these entities are everywhere. We just can't see them with our eyes. And it can be very easy for an entity to attach themselves for us.
Right.
And I know we've just had Halloween, and it was supposed to be the time when the veil is the thinnest. So, that's could leave a lot of people open as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Now, it's amazing that you do these house clearings. I'm so intrigued by that. I did a few, not as many as you have. What role do you see psychic mediums, such as yourself, playing in helping to heal those who are grieving, lost a loved one?
It definitely helps with the grieving part, though, because a lot of times they just want to know that they're okay, that whoever's crossed back into spirit, when their body dies and we go back, because we were there first before we came down here, though, before we were born. A lot of times it's just to connect, to see that last goodbye, though, to get the answers, or to know that they're okay. The person that they're just lost or loved or having a hard time letting go. Definitely would be able to help them with the why. That's the biggest thing that I find out. And the guidance and the direction. Like, oh, okay, they're okay though. They're with me a lot though. This is this is the why. These are the friends that let me know that they're with me. It's just to definitely help find the peace so they can move forward with their lives.
Closure, right?
Yeah.
Right. I was listening to this radio show. It's called We Don't Die Radio, and they had a psychic. Well, I don't know if she was a psychic medium. I know she was a medium, and she was channeling a young man who had committed suicide, and she was talking with the mother, and the young man came through and told his mother why he did it, and also discouraged everyone against doing it. Just like, said, fulfill your role, don't do it, don't end your life prematurely, blah, blah, blah. But it was very interesting, and the mother, after all these years, she could finally have closure and understand why this happened, why he did it.
Right, yeah, it's even in human beings, they were just naturally curious, though, so we always want to know why for everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what actually just helps us, though, just get that answers to what happened.
Right.
Um,
Now, you offer also a number of, besides being a psychic medium, you also offer a number of alternative services. Could you tell us about some of these and explain what they entail?
oh, absolutely. I'm an herbalist, I'm a certified herbalist, and I'm a Reiki master teacher and practitioner. What the herbalist is the natural alternative remedies, which isn't really alternative because this is the medicine that we used to use all the time
Right.
before modern day medicine.
Right.
So basically, it's just medicine that comes from plants. It comes from nature. Whether it comes in like the form of a pill with a plant in it, in the pill, or take a tea. That's the most common way that I administer the medicine to people. I shouldn't use it though in the traditional sense though of medicine. It's because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
So I have to keep that in mind though when I talk about the herbalist part. It's the natural alternative remedies. It can help though from like high blood pressure though, or to ease pregnancy symptoms, and even help with menopause. Or yes, and it can even help though, like if you ate too much that day though, it helps calm your stomach.
Nice.
Which we all do that though,
Yes.
right?
Thanksgiving's coming, so.
yeah, so there's great remedies for that. That's for sure. So there's that. There's a lot of, tea can come in the form of what's called the salve, which is kind of like well, it's plants though, but it's kind of like how we put cream on a burn. It actually will help with stuff like that as well too, or even muscle aches, which is amazing to me. So as far as the Reiki goes, I teach 3 lineages of Reiki. As you know, I think there's like 10 or 15 different lineages. I only know 3. I got my first master level in 2012 in the Usui Tibetan lineage. And then I got Karuna Reiki, and I got the Usui Holy Fire this year. They're all great lineages, though. I enjoyed each one of them, and I actually enjoy teaching each 3 as well too. Especially the first 2 levels, because I teach it in 3 levels. Some teach it in 4. But the last 2 levels can be combined. So that's why, we have that option. The first 2 levels, pretty much the standard. And I enjoy teaching that though, because people find that they have the power already. You're just tapping into it when you take the class. So it's nice, to, especially with the newbies, what I call them, those that, the people that are opening up to spirituality and opening up to Reiki. They find out the different ways that they can use it for. You can Reiki the water that you're going to drink, say, so you can get it purified energetically. So, because we know that there's so many chemicals going through everything now, even just water. So it can definitely help, lower that chances of all the chemicals going into our bodies for using the Reiki to Reiki over the food or over the water. Even Reiki ourselves, Reiki others as well too. It definitely helps. There's the lady that I've been going to, she's been in the hospital since earlier this year, and I go to see her at least once a week to give her Reiki, sometimes 2 or 3 depending on my schedule and what she needs that week. And she had like really bad bouts of pneumonia, and she's diabetic on top of it. So yeah. And so that as we know now, that diabetes makes things a little bit more complicated in the healing process. So she's, especially in the beginning, though, she's a lot better now, thank goodness. But she's still not out of the woods yet, but she's better. Especially more so in the beginning, it was the only time that she was not in pain.
Oh, wow.
Because she was so sick. Yeah. So now she's a total believer, though. When she gets well enough, though, she wants to learn to do the Reiki herself now, too. When she gets well enough, yes. Yeah, I saw her earlier today, though. It's the first time her voice actually sounded normal again since she's been sick. So she definitely wants to, do that, though, when she's done. So, I mean, I also hold a healing circle once a month, too, for, any kind of energy healing. If you're not if you're not a Reiki practitioner, you can still come anyway, which is nice. But most of my group, though, is Reiki practitioners. That happens a lot, though. When you teach a certain modality, you tend to attract those people more.
Right.
So it's just the way the balls drop sometimes, though, right? So I do that once a month, and it's all different levels. Some of them just level 1, some of them are master level, like I am. I think one of them also teaches out too. And we learn from each other. We give each other healing. And a lot of times, though, sometimes, messages come through where, we have to be reminded that we need to take care of ourselves too.
Right.
Because as healers, we tend to forget about ourselves.
That's right. We can't heal others if you're not healthy.
Exactly. Right. So a lot of times, that's the recurring theme that with the healers. It's like, okay, we got to slow down. We got to make sure we got our rest, so we can better serve others.
Right. Also, being a medium too takes a lot of energy as well.
It sure can, because it can be emotionally exhausting, especially if we keep giving reading after reading in the day. Definitely those little breaks in between, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, so here and there.
Right.
So yes, we definitely need a downtime, and that's a wonderful reminder of that.
Definitely. So, do you have any? I know you have your healing. You said you do your healing circle once a month. Do you have any other upcoming events or any publications that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I also hold a development circle once a month as well, where people can, work on their gifts, whether it be card readings or spirit communication, psychic work, past life readings, Akashic records, whatever people want to work on. It's an open circle for that.
Wow. Now, this is a psychic development circle?
It's a development circle.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of times it's the beginners, though, that attend one. So if you're going to hold a circle, I recommend at least one experienced medium of some kind holding at least being present, though, during the circle to guide the newer ones. But even the most experienced ones, though, can still learn more from the other ones or the new people. Because it might be a different perception or a different way to look at the same thing, though, to help others understand the same thing. So I hold that once a month too. I do work various psychic fairs. I'm working one in Wareham this Saturday. But I've been to Newport. I've been to Boston, though, to do fairs, to give readings. I always offer private readings, though, if someone can't make a fair. Or if they just want, more quiet versus, a setting like that where it's so public, though, you always hear other people speaking at the same time. There is a new magazine, Sophia from, I forget the original publisher. It escapes me at the moment, but I've been writing articles for them for once a month for about, I think it's 6 or 7 months now, though. I think my last article will be published in March, if I have it right in my head. So the November issue just came out today, though, so I was excited to see, my name in there, though, with the article. I think this month it was about this different spiritual beings that we can connect with, whether it be loved ones, guides, angels, elementals even. A lot of times when we forget about the elementals, those are the fairies, the trolls, the giants that we learn about in fairy tales. They're real, even unicorns, but they just live on the spirit side, that they're not in the physical level. So we don't see them with the physical eyes. So we never get that. Yeah. So we've got a few things going on right now.
That's awesome. So
thank you.
To find out, for our listeners to contact you and to find out more information about all the great, awesome things you do, how would they contact you?
They can go to my website, Psychic Medium Kathy. Kathy's KATHY .webs.com. They can contact me through my website, or go into my calendar on my site to see where I'll be.
or, as always, though, people can always come for a private reading. They can either call or text me at 508-648-8021, or they can email me at the letters KC, the number 7875 @yahoo.com. The best way to get hold of me is through my website or calling or texting me. Again, my website is Psychic Medium Kathy, KATHY.webs.com.
Thank you, Kathy. It was a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
It was wonderful to be on the show too.
Thank you. Continue doing the great work that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, everyone, that's all the time we have for today. As always, you can visit awakenedpathonline.com. Again, that's awakenedpathonline.com for show updates, courses, workshops, events, resources, and more. I'm Reverend Candace Nadine Green, and thank you for listening to Awakened Path Radio. Namaste and blessed be.